Welcome to Wrestling with Heart, a podcast looking at pro wrestlers giving back to their community. Join me, Stanley Carr, as I interview wrestling's hottest names who use their platforms as entertainers to raise awareness and do community service. Hello and welcome to another edition of Wrestling with Heart. This is the show where we talk with professional wrestlers and professional wrestling personalities about their lives in and outside of the ring, as well as doing acts of charity work, community service, volunteering, and spreading positivity. We're always about the positive vibes here on the show. And with me right now, I've got a very special guest. He is a legendary wrestling personality and manager from the Memphis wrestling era and has spent a lot of time working in the WWE. Former WWE Women's Champion. Yes, you heard that right. The one and only Harvey Wippleman. Welcome, Harvey, to Wrestling with Heart.
Hey, I'm so happy and fired up to be here. Harvey Wippleman, or a lot of people may still know me as Downtown Bruno, which got revitalized a couple years ago when the wonderful NBC Universal show Young Rock came out, and they had an actor named Ryan Pinkston playing Downtown Bruno on the show, and myself and Chavo Guerrero are actually the two wrestling executive consultants for that show. So after all them years, Downtown Bruno got revitalized, which I'm quite proud of, because I don't get me wrong, I'm very proud of the Harvey Wippleman days, but that was a creation of someone else. Bruno's my real name. Downtown Bruno, I came up with. So basically, that was something that came from the heart and soul of me, not somebody that said, just relax, we got it all figured out, we'll back the money truck up and you just relax. Downtown Bruno was me. So I'm Harvey and I'm proud of that, but Downtown Bruno came from right here.
It's pretty cool to be recognized on a national platform like that. I got to watch several of the episodes, and it's really like a love letter to professional wrestling, as well as The Rock's childhood and background. So it's pretty cool to be on the television show Young Rock. But let's get back to the beginning here. You're from Jackson, Mississippi. Was wrestling always something you grew up watching?
No, not really. And that's where I was born. I never even lived there. And in actuality, that's where my birth certificate came from. Daddy and Mama from that area. But I ended up in West Virginia at a young age till I was about 7. My grandmother was in Mississippi. I'd come every summer and go back in the school time to West Virginia. I've been here in Mississippi 90% of my life. This is my home. But the bottom line is, it wasn't something I grew up watching. I went to a fair in 1979 in West Virginia, in the tri-state area, West Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania. There was a fair, and the guy that I knew had to go to that fair to set up some kind of bandstand or something. I don't know what it was. And I did it at the time, and I can't remember. But we went there, and when he was doing all his work, I was just walking around, killing time. I didn't have any money. I was 14 years old. And there was a tent set up. And I peeked in the tent, and they were just fixing to start the matches. There was a wrestling event, Mid-Continental Wrestling, out of Jamestown, Kentucky. A great guy is no longer with us. God bless him. Dale Mann was the promoter and the champion, of course. And I went in wanting to look at the matches. Excuse me. And the guy at the front of the I don't want to call it door, because it was a tent, but where the opening where you came in, he said, "I'm sorry, but this isn't part of the fair. You have to pay extra admission to come in and watch the wrestling." I said, "Oh, I don't have any money." He goes, "It's only $5." And I don't have $5. I don't have anything. And this other guy was standing there. He goes, "Well, we need some people to help us take the ring down and load it up on the trailer after the event. If you'll stay and help us do that, you can come in." I said, "Oh, yeah, I'd love to." So I came in and watched the matches and really enjoyed it. Never had seen nothing like that before. Didn't know it was predetermined or whatever at the time. And the guy that I rode with came to me and said, all right, it's time to go now. We got to go. I said, well, I can't. I promised these folks that I'd help them take the ring down. Well, you got one choice. Come with me now, or you got to figure out another way to get back because I got to go. And I said, well, no, I done promised him. So you go ahead. I'll figure something out. And they heard me say that. And they offered me, hey, would you want to come with us? We're going through Ohio, West Virginia, and then we're going on to some fairs in South Dakota. And we'll pay you $15 a day. We'll give you a place to stay and feed you. I said, yeah, I would love to do that. I didn't have no money. That was like $15, like $1,000 to me back then. And it was April of 1979. Mid-Continental Wrestling. Dale Mann gave me my first job in professional wrestling, and I've been making my living in professional wrestling since then. As of we speak now, 46 years.
46 years, that's a long time. And you've been able to work in Memphis as well. What was that like, being able to work for Jerry Lawler?
He's the one who gave me Dale Mann, Jerry the King Lawler, and Rocky Johnson are the three people that gave me my life. Okay. And then, yeah, I've got a lot of promoters I worked for, different organizations. I mean, I didn't just work Memphis. You know, I worked Kansas City. I worked Alabama. I worked Honolulu. I worked Louisiana. I worked all over the place. But Lawler I speak to him almost every day of my life, too. He was a mentor to me. He gave me my break. He's the one who gave me the big push that sent me to the stratosphere in the business, which I understand I'm not on the level of John Cena, The Rock, Undertaker, whatever, but my stratosphere, okay, my personal one. My house I'm sitting in is paid for because of Jerry King Lawler giving me a break, Rocky Johnson get me rolling, and Dale Mann give me my first job in the business. Lawler gave me tough love for many years. I mean, for the first few years I was getting a break in the business, I thought my name was Dumb MRFer because everything I would do I thought was great, and it wasn't. I had to learn the hard way. But what happened was I was working for Dale Mann. The tour was over because he was doing the summer tour, you know, the fairs and whatnot into the early fall. Yeah. And there was a guy named Jonathan Boyd who was one of the Royal Kangaroos, ended up becoming involved with the sheep herders later. Knew that the tour was running out. He was going to work for in Kansas City. And he helped get me booked in Kansas City as ring crew and referee. I'd already managed a couple times in Dale Mann's organization. I wasn't very good at it, but I was learning. We got to Kansas City and I was ring crew and referee. Rocky Johnson, seeing how I was cutting up in the dressing room and doing, you know, acting up and being, you know, cocky or whatever. He says, man, you'd be a really, really good manager. I said, I've tried managing with Dale Mann's group, and I even tried here with Bob Geigel, but Bob Geigel don't want the manager to run around and cut up. He wants you to sit there in the corner and don't do nothing unless there's a reason for you to get up, do something, go sit back down. Rocky goes, you're way better than that. He goes, as new as you are to the business, you'll never learn and progress by just doing that. He says, how about I book you in Honolulu? He goes, I'm fixing to start over there for the Maivias booking with the family. He goes, I want you to come and be a manager over there. So here I am, 14, 15, maybe 15 at the time, whatever. And I'm booked in Hawaii. Got to get on a plane for the first time. I go to Honolulu. And Rocky's got me managing over there for Polynesian Pacific Championship Wrestling. And long story short, if it's possible at this point, was a big show over there. I always wanted to be in Memphis. That's my home area. I always wanted to be on the Memphis TV, which was not just semi-big time. It was big time back then, big time. Lawler came over there for an event, watched me managing. He said, Rocky, let him come to the ring with me tonight. That kid's, pretty good. Let me see what because Lawler always liked using managers, So Lawler used me to manage him that night. And he says, you know what? He goes, we don't have a spot in Memphis right now because we got a guy named Jimmy Hart, who's, getting the big push as the main guy. He goes, but Bruno, he goes, as soon as there's a spot open in Memphis, I'd like you to come to Memphis and manage for us. The minute that spot came open, I did everything but stand on my head to get that spot. And with Rocky's blessing, I left Hawaii, came home, and that was it ever since. That's when it all started. So Dale Mann, Rocky Johnson, and Lawler. I've had a lot of great teachers, a lot of great helpers, a lot of great friends over the years. But those are the ones that got me started and caused me my profession, my career.
And getting to work with a lot of different people over the course of your career, what pieces of advice did your mentors give you that you recall and have applied to today, even past working in WWE and in the Memphis territory?
Well, what it is, first of all, you have to learn every day. What got over, what didn't get over. Why did that get over? Why did it not get over? Psychology. I had to learn the psychology. If you can do a move and make it look great, but don't do it for a reason, don't follow up on it, whatever, it means nothing, which is unfortunately what's happening nowadays in the business. Learn every day. Learn that less is more. Don't do 7 moves. Do 2 moves. Give the guy a chance to sell those 2 moves. Instead of doing 7 where he ain't got a chance to sell none of them, the moves mean nothing. Okay? I've learned that. I've learned how to make an interview. It ain't just to sound funny and talk funny and say funny things. It's to make it mean something. I had my payoff line, which I made a living saying. It's like Mama says. It bees that way sometimes. But I'd say it for a reason. At the end, to pay off the interview. And Dwayne Johnson, my dearest friend, will tell you himself, I had the first catchphrase in the business. I've been saying that since day one. He will tell you that, So I've learned to see what gets over, what don't. Make your stuff look good. If a promoter or booker asks you to do something, you never say no unless you feel like you're going to hurt yourself or the person you're working with. It's the only time you say no. Put this guy over. Okay, how quick do you want me to do it? How do you want me to do it? That's the one paying you. If you're paying me to paint your house, I'm not going to tell you how it should be painted. I'm going to tell you how I know how to do it. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to, no, you want it painted white, I want it painted green. You don't do it that way. This is a business. A lot of these guys don't understand that. They're too far gone to realize it. We're just employees or contractors or whatever. And I'll give this advice to any young guys starting out in the business. I'm happy to help anyone. I'll explain to them about the business. I'll tell them what they did right or did wrong and why they should have did this or why they shouldn't have did this. There's 2 words I don't want to hear, and nobody else does either. 2 words. Young guys, remember this. If me or anybody else that's made our living in the business and done well explains to you something that you did or didn't do that you should have done or should not have done, the 2 words we don't want to hear is yeah, but. Ask me why. Say, okay, sir, but why? Not yeah, but. Yeah, but saying you know better than us. Never say yeah, but.
Now you've gotten to manage a plethora of talent, a wide array of stars over the years. Who have been some of your favorite people that you've gotten to work with and have the opportunity to manage?
Well, you have to excuse me. I have a habit. I'm doing these podcasts is what I do at night. I eat my chicken wings and I drink my beer. So that's when I'm relaxed. Some of these guys y'all might not even remember because before my WWE day. Got him Phil Hickerson, who I managed in the Memphis area. We traveled together. We worked together. Great guy. We drew money. Big, raw bone, tough guy, great worker. I loved managing Hickerson. I loved managing Tony Falk, if any of y'all might remember him. Good guy, good worker, solid hand in the ring. I enjoyed managing him. There was a tag team called the Rock and Roll RPMs, Mike Davis and Tommy Lane in Memphis. Mike Davis, God bless him, he's no longer with us. Great tag team. I used to enjoy them. Kansas City, I managed the Batten twins. God bless Brad Batten, who's no longer with us. Those guys, when I went to Kansas City, they gave me the biggest honor in the world. They were the big babyface tag team out there. When I got there, they went to Bob Geigel and said, and it was the owner of it, and the president of the NWA at the time, said, we want to turn heel so Bruno can manage us. What an honor that was. That was a huge honor to me. I'll never forget that. That was in 1985, I want to say. I'm the world's worst. I don't even remember what I ate for breakfast. So I'm not good on dates. I know when I started in business, 79. I know I was born in 65. I don't know what my expiration date is yet. but yeah, that's those are my favorite ones I managed pre-WWE. In WWE, the one I managed that I liked the most was George Gonzalez, Giant Gonzalez. Rest his soul too. Once again, we really got along great. We were legitimately a team. You know, me and Sid were very good friends, but when I was managing him, it was more or less just me standing in the corner. He did most of the talking. He did most of the action in the ring. I was grateful to be in a main event spot, but it wasn't like a great position for me. It was good managing Kamala because I got to be with Kim Chi, who was Brooklyn Brawler Steve Lombardi, who's another best friend to me in this world. So we had a nice time traveling together. And I mean, like me and Bertha Faye never got along. God rest her soul too, once again. Even though we didn't get along, we weren't friends. It didn't really click. I loved Adam Bomb. I loved Quang, who became Savio Vega. I loved Well Done. God bless them. They're no longer with us either. Me and Mr. Hughes had a good deal, but it was short-lived. We're very good friends to this day, but let's just say there was some issues with him at the time that he's corrected in his life. But I think me and him could have had a really good run if things had been different. Bully Busnick, just God bless him too. Once again, I'm always going to bless these people. Just didn't have the skills to be on that level, unfortunately. Warlord, I love managing him. It was very short-lived. It was a short run, but we didn't really get into any angles or anything. But I see him to this day at these conventions. I liked Terry, his real name's Terry. I liked him very much. Great guy.
Yeah, so you got to work with all those guys. And one of the highlights you had in the WWE was getting to be the women's champion. Talk to me about how that came about and losing the title to Jacqueline, getting the chance to work with her as well.
Well, I worked with her for umpteen matches, hundreds probably, in Memphis when she was starting out in Memphis. Here's the deal there. Stacy the Cat Carter, who was at the time Jerry the King Lawler's wife, they did a deal where she ended up somehow becoming the women's champion. That was going to be a short-lived deal. She was a really good-looking girl, great girl. We get along fantastic. I really like her. I liked her then. I like her now. But she was strictly for the looks and, personality. She was not a stout athlete or whatever. So Jacqueline, very safe in the ring, very good worker, but very solid, very snug in the ring, and sometimes even stiff, to be honest. They wanted the belt to be on it, the championship be on her. Slapped me on the wrist for saying belt. We're not supposed to say that no more. Well, they knew Jacqueline unintentionally would have probably hurt Stacy in the ring, just because Stacy was so frail and just a small little girl that was very pretty. So it was very simple. They put that little goofy match on in the snow, which was real snow, by the way. And so for me to win the championship off of Stacy, strictly so the very next day, even though it looked like 8 days later, because SmackDown wasn't live at the time, or 6 days later, whatever it was. Jacqueline beat me. That was strictly a way to switch the championship from Stacy to Jacqueline without Stacy getting hurt. So it didn't matter if I got hurt because but I didn't get hurt. But I mean, she's very snug, very stiff. But it was just that's all it was. That's all it was. So I can legitimately look at you in the eye and say I was the World Wrestling Federation champion at one point. I'm not to say the women's part, but I was the world champion at one point.
Yeah, I mean, she's tough as nails.
Oh yeah, she is, and that's why it was such a quick match. I wasn't going to go out there and try to match her move for move. At that time, I was already probably 40 years old or whatever, so I've been doing this since I was 14.
You've been in this business a long time, seen so many changes. But you know, it's good to see that wrestling's kind of in a big boom period again when you got all these alternatives and these other companies that are really rising, and especially on the independent circuit too. I think it's a great time to be a fan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still with WWE. I'm on my own special deal, and I love it that the company is very loyal to me, and I'm very loyal to them. But I still do a lot of independent special guest referee, and I call it ha-ha refereeing because I do the funny thing. The heel's got the guy covered. I'm looking at the fans, whatever. And then, hey, I want you to start counting. By that time, the babyface will schoolboy him out, count real fast, whatever. So I do a lot of that. I do a lot of these washed-up conventions. They call them Legends reunions, whatever. I don't care. I enjoy it. I enjoy seeing the fans. I enjoy seeing the people say, "Oh, I grew up watching you," and I enjoy seeing the guys that I worked with over the years. So I'm still very active, and I love every minute of it.
Yeah. Now I want to switch gears and talk about some of the stuff you've done outside of the ring. I know you've been very involved with various charity functions and have done a lot of work to help in the community over the years. You've recently gotten the chance to take part in something very special. Tell me about that.
Let me tell you, all my years in the business, I'm in the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame. I've been given awards and plaques and whatever. I've been, like we talked about a minute ago, I was WWF Women's Champion. I've been main event in Madison Square Garden, at the Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis, whatever. All these accolades are great. Fine. What happened I think it's about 3 weeks ago now, for an organization called 100 Wrestling in Wynne, Arkansas. I was there as a special guest referee. The elderly African-American lady walked up to me during intermission and said, "Oh, Bruno, I used to watch you when you were first starting out, and man, you always was so great. I was so happy to find out you were going to be here. That's why I brought my grandson down. He didn't remember you because he's only 12, but I showed him a lot of videos of you back from years ago, and he was so excited. He wanted to meet somebody that was really famous like you, and the whole but he's autistic." She goes, he's nervous all the time, and the kids pick on him at school, and if there's anything you can do to make him feel special tonight, even if you just walk down and get a picture made with him, if you could make him feel special, that would mean so much. And I'm looking, he's got headphones on, like you got on now, but his didn't have music or whatever. It was because the bumps in the ring and the music and the wrestlers arguing on the microphone. Yeah, sensitivity made him nervous. He never cracked a smile. He was just strictly, stone-faced, autistic. They don't have a hard time showing emotion. So we're having the match. It's a guy named Danny Dollar, who's a great guy, was the good guy, the babyface. And unfortunately, I don't remember the other guy's name because I never met him before. Nice guy, but the heel, the bad guy. We're in the ring, and I'm the special referee. I'm the big baby face referee, favoring Danny Dollar the whole time. And, the other guy, works like he's mad at me. "What's wrong with you? I'll punch you out," blah, blah, blah. When it was time to go home, Danny Dollar did the big move to the bad guy. Ba-boom. When he went to cover, he covered him. And I said, "Hold on a second." I looked at the front row. I pointed at the autistic kid. I said, "Get in the ring. You make the count. Make the count." He pointed at himself. "Me?" I said, "Yeah, you. Come on, come on." And Danny Dollar and the other guy They didn't question it. They just stayed there in a position. I said, Danny, do it again. Because I didn't want the guy to lay there too long. It would look ridiculous, right? So Danny did the move to the guy again. I said, make the count, man. And the kid counted 1, 2, 3. And the person, the bell keeper rang the bell. Everybody started clapping. That kid looked at me with a face like of astonishment. I said to myself, this ain't enough. I says to the bad guy, I said, you okay if we do it again? Let the kid cover you? He goes, yeah. I said, Danny, do the move again. Let the kid cover him. He did the move to the guy again. The kid covered him. I counted 1, 2, 3. All of a sudden, this stone-faced kid that never had an emotion all night was jumping up and down, waving his arms in the air, smile from ear to ear. I looked over. The grandmother was crying. I was crying. I can't speak for the other two guys. They probably were too. The whole audience stood on their feet, were clapping and hollering. This kid was jumping up and down. I told this to The Rock the other day. I opened up to him about it. He told me himself, he goes, and he's right. That kid will never forget that till the day he dies. I'm ready to cry right now because it was like, I had nothing to gain from that. I'm not trying to get people to watch and say, oh, Bruno's great. No, I'm saying I had an opportunity to do something for a young man that's obviously had a hard life, has a hard way to go. And I had, I don't know how many people were in attendance. It was a small little community center event, maybe 300 people there. But they all were standing up screaming and clapping for this kid. And he was smiling and waving his arms in the air. And I will never forget that till the day I die.
That is so heartwarming, to hear that, somebody that's going through something in their life, to have their day, made by one of their heroes or someone that they look up to or someone that they idolize, and to see the look on their face, to be able to participate and be a part of something big like a professional wrestling show means the world. It means so much.
That meant more to me. Like I said, any award I've got, any championship, any Hall of Fame, any paycheck, whatever, that right there, to me, is what defines my career. That I was able to be in a position to do that. I mean, I've got several personal heroes. One of them is Danny Thomas, who founded St. Jude's Children's Cancer Research Hospital here in Memphis. Okay. This is a guy that said himself, I've got the plaque in my other room where I showed to you, where he said, opening this hospital is the greatest moment of my life. He said something along the lines of, if I was to die right now, I could die knowing I accomplished what I wanted in life. He made a prayer. He was buried right here in Memphis. He's interred right there in a mausoleum downtown Memphis at the hospital. The flower cars were all over the place on Central Avenue in Memphis when he was buried right here in Memphis. He's a Memphis guy. He made a prayer to St. Jude, who's the patron saint of lost causes. Said, if I make it in the Hollywood, entertainment business, whatever, he goes, I'm going to open a hospital for children with life-threatening illnesses and diseases, and none of them are going to pay 1 cent for treatment or cure. He said it, he did it, he meant it, and it happened to this day. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital is the #1 charity hospital in the world. Danny Thomas, that's a hero. That's a hero.
Well, to you, what is it about giving back to the community that gives you the most joy?
The people that didn't get the blessings I had. I mean, yeah, I'm not a multimillionaire or billionaire like Dwayne Johnson. I'm not a billionaire like Mr. McMahon, who's been great to me. You know what I mean? I'm doing well. My house is paid for. I got enough money to go eat whatever I want, get my beer, get my chicken wings, get my cheese and crackers, if you can see that. I'm blessed. Some people don't even have to, like people here in Walls come to me, Bruno, can you let me borrow $8 till check day? I don't have no money to even get any gas, whatever. I'm blessed. I've been blessed. Yes, I worked hard for it. I toiled and I suffered and I sacrificed, but I'm blessed. A lot of people suffered and sacrificed and didn't get that blessing. I did. Not only for my hard work, but people like early in life, Dale Mann, Jerry King Lawler, Rocky Johnson. Then later in life, Dwayne, who blessed me more than I can ever explain. He's the brother that I've always had. A lot of people say that I never had, that I've always had. He's my brother. I've been blessed. So when I see somebody that deserves help, if I can help them, I can't give people money. I'm not rich. Yeah, here's $8. Here's $4. I can't buy nobody a truck like Dwayne did for me. I can't buy nobody a house. But by God, I can do what I can to help them, like with that young boy in Wynne, Arkansas, or anybody can help in the business, or somebody around here in my hometown of Walls, Mississippi. If I can help them change a tire, whatever. I've been blessed, and I just want the Lord Jesus Christ to know that I don't take it lightly. I've been blessed, and I want to pass on what I can when I can, with no expectation of anything in return. I got my blessings. Only thing I want to return, we've all sinned and fell short of the glory of God, every one of us. I don't care if it's the Pope, Mother Teresa, me, you, or anybody. We've all sinned. The only one that's without sin and blemish is the Lord Jesus. So when the day comes when I'm no longer on this earth, only thing I want to return is, please bring me to eternal paradise in heaven. That's all I want.
Make the world a better place. Pay it forward one step at a time. Well, Harvey, thanks so much for coming on to Wrestling with Heart. It means a lot to me and to my listeners and viewers that are watching this on YouTube. Where could people find out more about you on social media? If you have anything you want to plug, feel free.
I don't have any social media. Zero. I'm figuring there's a lot of other ways I could ruin my life. So, but my friend Dan Matthews has a Facebook page called Downtown Bruno Bookings and Appearances. It's strictly, if anybody wants to book me for a deal like your thing, or a special referee event, or some type of convention, all you got to do is go on Facebook, Downtown Bruno Bookings and Appearances. Dan will reach out to me. That's where you get the ball rolling. Downtown Bruno Bookings and Appearances on Facebook.
All right. Thanks again, Harvey, and you're more than welcome to come back.
You're more than welcome to invite me back.
You got it. Thanks a lot.
God bless. Good night.
This is Wrestling with Heart. I hope you found this podcast to be informative and entertaining. If you did, please hit the subscribe button and look out for the next edition.